Today we're going to be talking about picking out your horse's feet. We're going to be looking at what's normal and what you should be looking out for, signs of injury, damage or disease, for example. This is my assistant Ollie, and he's going to be helping us, showing us what to look out for on your daily hoof check. Best possible place to tie up your horse ready for picking out his feet is somewhere that's dry, that's light and that's level. One of the things that I notice as I'm stood here is that Ollie's standing nice and square, which means that he's weight bearing in all 4 feet, which means that he's nice and comfortable. Something that's natural for horses to do is for them to rest a hind leg, particularly if they're nice and relaxed. And I think it's all about just knowing your own personal horse and what's normal for them. Anything out of the ordinary is perhaps an indication that there might be a problem. So we're now going to look at the outer hoof. The hoof wall should be nice and smooth, with no significant cracks, no significant ridges, and the foot should be complete, so there shouldn't be any parts missing. If your horse is wearing shoes, you'll notice that it's got clenches along the sides here, which is basically the ends of the nails which have been flattened off. They should be flush with the side of the hoof, or they certainly will be when it's first been shot. And then as the hoof grows down, you'll start to see that the clenches just start to rise just a little bit and they might stick out. And you've just got to be careful that they don't stick out so much that they cause an injury. But clenches that are risen and sticking out is a very good indication that your horse is due for shoeing. You might notice that your horse might have some ridges on the side of the outer hoof wall. These are a good indication of a significant dietary change, but they can also signify some other problems, including laminitis. When we're looking at the hoof regularly, we begin to see what is normal for that particular horse and what is abnormal. If you notice anything that's abnormal with your horse that you are worried about, this might be a good time to talk to your vet or your farrier. A shod horse should be seeing the farrier every 6 to 8 weeks, and an unshod horse should be seeing the farrier every 8 to 10 weeks. So they'll be able to monitor the condition of your horse's hoof alongside you. You might start to notice small cracks on the horse's hoof, particularly in the summer months when the ground's really dry and the hoof wall is very dry. This is something that alongside your farrier you can monitor. If you do notice any changes, speak to your farrier about them. Best way to pick out your horse's feet is to start with a hand on their shoulder and gradually run your hand all the way down their leg, and hopefully they should naturally offer you their foot. I always support it with my outside hand at the hoof just to make sure that the hoof's not just hanging there, because it is quite a weight for them. Good lad. When you're picking out a horse's foot, you always go down the sides of the frog in a downward motion, never up, because you can pierce the frog sometimes. It's quite a sensitive area, and just make sure you get all the dirt out. And then you can also run the hoof pick along the toe just to make sure there's no grit or stones in there either. If your horse is shod, the shoe should be flush with the edge of the horse's hoof here, and there shouldn't be any signs that the shoe has slipped at all. If a horse is unshod, you should be able to see the white line which runs just under where the shoe is. Ideally, the sole should be concave and not flat. This means that they're just less likely to feel any stones that they walk on. Typical thoroughbreds like Ollie do tend to have quite flat feet, and so that's why they feel the ground more. The frog should be intact and not tatty or shredded. You shouldn't smell any bad smells. If you do, this could be an indication of an infection, for example, thrush. When looking at the underside of the horse's hoof, it's also a really good idea to check for any puncture wounds or perforations, signs of injury to the horse that might need veterinary attention. And then gently place the foot down, don't let it just drop. Good boy. And just to make sure the horse knows you're there, I would run my hand along the back and then again all the way down the leg, and again he should offer. You always hold the horse's hind leg around the inside of the leg to make sure that you don't get kicked. And then again in the same fashion, run the hoof pick down the sides of the frog and then clear out around the toe and then place down. Good lad. By picking up and picking out all of your horse's feet every day, you'll begin to get an idea of what's normal for that horse. If your horse is normally very well behaved to pick out all of their feet, and suddenly you notice a problem with one in particular, this may be an indicator that there's a problem somewhere, perhaps pain that might be muscle or joint related, or even a possible foot abscess. It's always a good idea when you suspect pain to seek veterinary attention. And once again, it goes back to noticing what's normal for your horse and what's abnormal for your horse. And by repeating this process every day, you'll soon begin to get a good picture as what is normal. So today we've looked at how to pick out your horse's feet and the reasons why you should do it every day. If you do notice any problems or any differences coming up in your horse's feet, don't be afraid to talk to your farrier or your vet about them. If you'd like any more advice on your horse's welfare or care, please visit our website. I hope you've enjoyed the film that Ollie and I have put together for you today. Thanks.